If I add myself to the stage, it makes it so much better. Good evening, everyone. Sorry for being tardy. I was at an event in Ybor City, 25 miles away, and that was 15 minutes ago. So there's that. Uh, so it's glad to be back to the United States. I, for almost 2 weeks, was in Sicily. And while I was there, I actually discovered that Stellantis really doesn't have a clue of how to deal with, boy, my hair's crazy, how to deal with anything in North America. It seems like they know how to deal with stuff in Italy. And I actually had an epiphany while I was there. Kind of fascinating stuff. So this is going to be kind of what they should be doing kind of stuff. It's Barbara DeRush. Hi, Barbara. Good evening. So, I haven't really been doing much stuff around here because I haven't been here. I went to a Mo party in September. Then I had a week and a half to get ready to go to Sicily for 11 days. And I got back on Sunday morning at 2 a.m. So I'm a little out of it still. And it's really been interesting when I was over there. Yes. Oh, Sky Spectre. Yes. I will talk and I will listen and learn. Yes. Hey, you never know. You may comment something and I may learn something. But it was fascinating. I actually hey Sue Ann. I rented a car because I drive myself when I'm over there because why not? And I had some massive epiphany while I was there because Gary Anderson or Ackerson, sorry. Gary Ackerson. If I get these glasses checked. Went to a car show in Ybor a few years ago. The cars lined up street, good quality cars. Actually, I was probably at that show. I was probably parked in front of the Italian club. My Charger was there. It was either the Founders Day or it was the one in October. Those are the two shows they have there. And I've been to them. So I probably was there also. I love going to Ybor for shows. It's great because you go to the James Joyce Irish Bar, friggin' nice cold beer, and really, really good fish and chips. Excellent fish and chips. Great hamburger too, actually. So cool. That's really cool. Yeah. So it's kind of fascinating. So I get everything going here. God, whew. It's been a week. It's been a week and a half. If this is gonna work, oh cool. All right, groovy. Oh, the stock show. All right. So when I was over there, there's like fascinating stuff we don't see over here. So this like little brat pickup thing, it's actually made. I think it was made by Fiat, and this is like stuff we should have over here because they actually had Subaru had a little thing they call the Brat, same damn size as this thing. This was in Santa Stefano, but I mean, look at this. I mean, that is just a perfect little truck to have around in a city, sort of like where the Maverick is. The Maverick's a hell of a lot bigger than this thing. It was kind of cool. If you want to see small cars, Europe is like the place to go. And it was kind of interesting. So it was just a really fascinating thing in cars. I have pictures if anybody's interested. But let's get into the thing. So there's been a lot going on in the last 2 weeks for newer cars. For older cars, the auctions are starting up. There's supposed to be a bunch of stuff. Barbara DeRush, can you fit a sheet of plywood in the back of that truck? Actually, yeah, I think you could. It was wide enough. It may stick up a little bit, but it was not that tiny. That was like probably about 5 feet. So it would fit, be sticking up, but it still could transport better than putting it on top of the roof, which I've seen in America. So, but Yeah, so the auctions are going to start kicking off soon. Car shows are going to start kicking off in Florida soon. So I'm going to have some things with that. And but there really hasn't been a lot of old car news because there just hasn't been a lot of stuff going on. A lot of new car news. Yeah, my father and brother always measure to see if it fit a plywood flat or it's not a truck. Well, this is Europe, so I mean, actually, I did see like I in Europe, I did see. I didn't get a picture. A Frontier, a Nissan Frontier, and I saw the Toyota that they thought they were going to bring to America. That it was a perfect size truck. It was like the size of a Maverick, just an absolutely perfect size truck. Some really good stuff. So, I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna do my travel picture. So, what I'm gonna I mean, the food over there was great, though. This was delicious. But, so I'm gonna talk about this. This is kinda this car. This is a Fiat Tipo station wagon, Intrepid Assistant. The Intrepid Assistant was there. This was a Tipo station wagon. It had a 5-speed and a diesel in it. We were able to carry 3 people's luggage in this thing, fit 3 people in here very comfortably. It is about 170 inches long. So it's not that it's like the size of a Focus or maybe a little bigger. But this is actually a Fiat. They made these for a while. They stopped making the station wagon, but instead of bringing the 500 to North America, this car should have been brought to North America. I mean, it actually was not a bad car. I mean, the suspension was dog poop, but the actual car itself was not bad. The diesel actually was really, really awesome. And the thing is, this is the size of what the small Camry station wagons were. It's about that size, or even the Focus wagons or anything of that size. And the other thing though, being this was a diesel, me driving it like an animal, I still got 40, 45, 46 miles to the gallon with this car. That's going through mountains and heavy traffic and whatnot. And I got 45, 46 miles to the gallon with this car. And, honestly, looking at it, it is, I mean, it is obviously, nothing sporty, nothing fancy, nothing, but it was still a decent enough car that you drove nice and, you were able to put everything in it, handled okay. It doesn't look terrible. I mean, for a station wagon, it does not look terrible. And obviously, it's more useful than any Fiat 500 or 500 XL because those are just pointless cars. I don't understand why Stellantis can't bring this car to North America because there is a market for this car. And when you see the price of this car, it's going to blow your mind because here's the sedan. And it is 16,000 euros. That's how much this thing cost. So it's about $17,000. This is the sedan they make now. They don't make in Italy, they don't make the station wagon. They do in Malta. Here's the car in Malta. And it's actually a gas hybrid in Malta. And 1.5 liter turbo with a hybrid. And it has 130 horsepower. This makes much more sense than HEMI everything. Yes, it is like a smallish car. A car, small SUV. Yeah, it's a station wagon. It's a very upright station wagon. And this car makes a hell of a lot more sense for Stellantis North America than the crap that they're trying to push down our throats. Because I literally had this epiphany while I was driving this because I was like, oh crap, I got a friggin' Fiat, and I was hoping to get a Volkswagen, something that was made better, but this was not terrible. And honestly, I could see this car selling in the United States better than that electric appliance charger that literally sells 2,000 every quarter. They sell 700 of those electric appliance chargers a a month. Because here's the breakdown for Stellantis North America. That it's actually kind of pathetic. No, I don't want to. That here we go. They actually sold 6 darts this year. They've been out of production for like 5 years. They sold 6 darts. But the charger appliance, they've sold 2,600 of them in the third quarter. That's over 3 months. That's a little less than 800 a month in the entire United States. They've sold a whole whopping 7,000 of these appliances. They're not going to make the 10,000 production I predicted they would make. They're not even going to get close to that. And honestly, this is Dodge is close to being dead at this point. They sold a total of 73,000 vehicles so far. And of that, 54,000 of those are Durangos. So 19,000 other stuff. And why does this matter to a guy that has a classic Chrysler? Because honestly, they're not supporting me, and they're not making anything I want to buy. And it's actually kind of sad. And from what I've seen in the in the news, and I watched some other some other channels, is they don't have a clue. They really, really, really don't have a clue that they actually just released the 4-door version of the electric appliance, and it's $70,000. The gas-powered charger car isn't coming out for another few months at minimum. The 4-door gas-powered isn't coming out to the middle of next year. So basically, Dodge has nothing, because the Hornet right now is no longer being produced. These are whatever they had laying around. They sold a whopping 2,800 of them. The Journey has been stopped for, I don't even know where those came from. They had 13 Journeys they sold. 8 Grand Caravans. They haven't made those in years. I don't know where they're finding these cars. And these are leftover Chargers and Challengers from 2 years ago. They sold almost 500 of them. This is getting kind of sad. Let's see. Okay, Gary, I'll get to this. So Gary, yeah, I saw that too, and kind of fascinating. If you actually read the press release and about their investing, actually, I could probably pull it up. That there's 5 new vehicles that are going to be released by 2030. Okay. And it's $13 billion. And, we'll pull this up. This is the Stellantis. I have the Stellantis, because I've seen other people talk to this. So let's pull this up. Since you brought it up, we'll talk about this, because this is kind of fascinating, because it isn't what you think it is. Okay. So Stellantis is supposed to invest $13 billion to grow the United States. Expand production by 50%. What they're going to do is they're going to get rid of the Canadian production. 5 new vehicles and 19 product actions. That means just modifying what they have over the next 4 years. 5,000 jobs at the plants that they originally said they were going to do. So of these 5 vehicles, okay, it's 5 vehicles here, okay. One is a large SUV for Ram, okay. One is a new Durango, 2 Jeeps, and one other product. There is no mention in this entire press release of a HEMI, of a successor to the HEMI, of anything resembling a car for Chrysler. That's right. The other thing's another large SUV that's not the Ram. So that's 5 vehicles. None of them cars. There are no cars mentioned at all in this that they're going to build. There's going to be no cars for North America. There is no mention in this press release for the HEMI, a successor to the HEMI, any V8s, anything resembling something that an American market will buy. No regular production inline sixes. No, no regular gas 4-cylinder economy cars. No, what they have is this all new 4-cylinder engine, the GEM ET4 Evo, that's going to be built in Kokomo. Um, and it's going to add 100 jobs, which doesn't seem like a lot, and 100 million is not a lot either. We don't know what this engine is. It's probably a hybrid 4, which means it's complex and expensive. There is nothing in this press release saying that Chrysler gets a vehicle. There's nothing in this press release saying that Dodge gets anything except the new Durango, but that's in 2029. So I watched the butter in the butter inside insider, but the butter inside, and TK's garage, and they had spoken to this also. This is literally them slow rolling, waiting to see if the winds of policy will change in the United States. And we're going to go back down the moronic path that basically almost destroyed our automotive business. Because there is really nothing here that will make anything that will be a giant success. There's literally nothing in this press release that this $13 billion is going to be a huge profit maker for Stellantis North America. I mean, they screwed up Jeeps. I don't know how you do that, but they have found a way to screw a Jeep up. They made the 4xe Jeep, which is a hybrid Jeep, which is the stupidest thing in the world. And they just did a update on them over the weekend. And they literally bricked 80% of them with the update over the weekend. That 4xe Jeep has had 3 major recalls. It's probably going to have a 4th. They have yet to solve the problem of the vehicle stop moving on the highway. Literally, the vehicle stops moving because the hybrid system goes offline and the vehicle cannot go forward or backwards. It is dead in the water, instantaneously dies. And so this is the type of investment we're going to get from Stellantis at this point. And they're going to expand the production of Cherokee and Jeep Compass, which means, see, they're just taking that from Canada. These are made in Canada right now. And that's 2027, so that's 2 years from now. Barbara DeRush. I had a 98 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo, lasted for a long time, only to get rid of it like 3 years ago because it was rusted out. It was done. Yeah. They disintegrate. You live up in New York, if I remember correctly. So yeah, that always happens to those vehicles up there. They disintegrate, and those winters are rough on those cars. They're going to have to bring the Dodge Caravan back to save the place. No, there is no plan for a new minivan. In all these words, there is no plan for a new minivan. And the minivan they're using now is I think over a decade old, if I remember correctly. And honestly, it's kind of pathetic that this is. I did a video a while ago on when they hired Filosa as the CEO, because they looked long and hard. Basically long and hard. They basically looked at Fiat and went, "Oh yeah, that guy hasn't had a position yet," and they hired him. And I figured he wasn't the right guy for the job, and he isn't. Where's Kuniskis? I haven't seen Kuniskis in over a month and a half now. I have not heard a word from him. I have not seen him. There's been nothing talking about SRT. There's been no press releases on SRT. There's been absolutely no improvement on direct connection, because you go online now and look at the direct connection catalog, and there's nothing there. Nothing for the old cars. There's zero support. Gary Ackerson, we talked about the CEO, whatever she has called herself, a Carlisle, a while ago. She talked for about an hour and said nothing except about the storage challenge they're putting up with. Yeah. Chrissy Fuel is incompetent. I really can't think of another word to describe her at this point, because you have to be, because if you are competent, you don't stay around as Rome burns. You just don't stay around. And Chrysler, there's nothing in this plan here. There is nothing in here saying there's a Chrysler product coming. There's nothing. There's Jeeps are named by name. There's 2 new Jeeps. I know there's a new midsize truck that's going to be going to Ram. That's 3. Large SUV. That's also Ram. That's 4. And then the Durango. There is nothing for Chrysler. And the only thing for Dodge is a Durango, and that Durango is 2029. So the current Durango we're going to be stuck with for another 4. That antique that is getting outsold by the Explorer 5-1. We're stuck with it. But I still want to know where Kuniskis is. Where is he? Because we made all this big deal about SRT this, SRT that, and for the last month, I have not heard nor seen anything about SRT. Nothing. I've seen nothing about SRT. Nothing. And what they've been pushing out there is nothing. I mean, they went and they put the V8s back into the Durangos. Yay. I guess. Yay. That's like putting lipstick on a pig. The Durango is so old, the Smithsonian wants one because it's old enough to be in there. This is really bad, and there's been no concerted effort to go and actually improve the product for older cars. Any support for the previous generation HEMI cars, that's almost gone. Forget about the classic era muscle cars. They're not doing anything to bring those people in. It is actually kind of sad at this point that they actually have a collection of people they can go to, people that own, like me, that own old Mopars, and they actually have a built-in audience, and they have done nothing to address us, nothing to bring us in, except hang shiny keys in front of us. Look, it got HEMI in it. Well, that doesn't really, whatever. And then you put the e-torque on the HEMIs and the trucks. The e-torque's on there. I wouldn't have an e-torque HEMI if you paid me. I don't want an extra electric engine on top of an engine, a little motor on top of an engine that if it fails, your truck's out of commission for 6 months because there are none on hand. They have to be made when they break. There is no supply of them. There's also a giant belt on there that can break also. And I looked up today these wonderful HEMIs that are now over $50,000. You can't get a HEMI for less than 50 grand. I went on their builder. I built it all ways for Sunday. No cheap line has a HEMI option. You have to spend serious money to get a HEMI. And they can't tow as much as my 2016 F-150. They're not even in the same sport. It is actually embarrassing to call these work pickup trucks. They are actually embarrassing. The heaviest they can tow is maybe 10,000 pounds. It may be a little less, but it definitely isn't over that. So most of the Ram 1500s could barely pull my Charger on a trailer. A lot of the weights are 7,700 to 8,000. And I wouldn't feel safe pulling 5,000 pounds with a truck that's only rated at 7,700, 8,000. It's just not. You're cutting it too close, and that's not really good, especially if you have to do mountains. And I'm not even going up, coming down. And I mean, their plan in North America is a disaster. This should be studied at business schools for years, of how fiat came in and basically had a golden opportunity to make a lot of money in the United States and screwed it up massively. I mean, that's the only. I mean, that is where we are. They literally have alienated all the old time Mopar people. They have alien. They have. They're not getting any of the new market because their stuff doesn't ring to the new market, and so now we're stuck with mediocrity. We're stuck with Chris Fuel running Chrysler and running around pretending that they have something going to be happening soon. I don't know. But this has just been bothering me, just because I went and I drove a car that they had in Europe that we don't have here, that I go, wow, this would have been, well, one hell of a car to sell here. This should have came over instead of the friggin' Alfa Romeo that they made a Hornet, because this thing is this is actually a car that you could sell for $25,000 and sell a lot of them. And I just don't grasp their planning. They think, I don't know what they think of the American market. It's almost like the when I went to the place in Palermo called Old Wild West, where it was like, I guess two Italians went to Texas and they figured out this is what Texas looks like, and they came back and made a Texas Tex-Mex place in Sicily, and it is as embarrassing as you can imagine. Yeah, they even had a place called Indian Reserve in there. It was a section of the restaurant. It was great. So let's see, what does Gary have over here? I had spoken about my 6.6 Coronet. Yeah, I wanted info on a 5.7 to put in. My dealer told me to go to eBay for a part number. He said nothing to look at in the dealer's Mopar internet site. No plug and play. No. So Gary, with that, with a 5.7, you go to Copart and you find a wrecked 5.7. You get everything. You get the transmission and you get the engine. There's a company that was at Mo Party that actually sells a 3-wire kit, and I don't have it with me, but yeah, they sell the kit to install, and they're the ones that do it, and they work with Holly. Literally, it's like 3 wires, and it interfaces with the computer, and you could put it in and it plug and play. That is how you have to do it. Stellantis is utterly useless to try to help you with this. They have no idea what they're doing. They don't want to support your car. It's very obvious at this point they don't want to support your car. They don't want to support my car. They don't want to give us any air for some reason, and I don't understand that, because we're the ones that would buy the new product, and instead I buy Fords because I actually like getting home. No, let me see. HEMI, wiring, install, old car. Let's see. The was it Mars Auto Part? Hold on, that doesn't sound familiar. Let's. I had their card somewhere. My friend actually. My friend actually would talk to them. I could find it. I can't find. I'll have to. I might have to post it. I might have to post it in my things, because it was really, really neat. But yeah, they had like a 3. Holly has a kit listed. That they may be working with Holly because they were at Mo Party. I think that they do work with them. They literally but it's like 3 wires. I mean, it was really simple. And at right now, oh wait, here it is. Is it? Is this it? I think I found it. Uh, yeah, this I think this is it. Um, Swap Specialties. Yep, I think this is them because they Swap Specialties. Yeah. And look, wait, I got to show you this. This is insane. When you see how simple this is, HEMI standalone harness. Look at this. So just look at this. Here it is. It basically plug and play. 3-wire hookup. This is This is who it was. It was Swap Specialty and Performance. And their system is absolutely unbelievable. It ties everything together. It will tie the transmission together. It will tie the engine together. You literally just wiring is absolutely simple. And go watch your Blue Jays. Go watch your Blue Jays. Good to see you tonight. Yep. Yeah, and they're really nice guys. You could probably call them and talk to them. They're really nice guys, and they do a lot of they do all the research themselves because they were working on Jeep swaps also, like a Wrangler 5.7 Jeep Wrangler swaps, and they're working on a stick shift one. So to actually be able to work it with a stick when you convert it over. And so here is the whole, this, and it literally, I mean, look at it. There's the plugs for your computer. There's a relay. There's your power. Here's all the connectors. It literally is just straight up 3 wires from your car. The rest get plugged into the engine. And actually, for $800, and look, and even so, Gary, they when you order it, literally you could tell them the year of everything, and they just custom make the whole thing. CTR 606 RFE now, or the 8HP. I would just use that, just be done with it. But it's an extra $1,000. But you know what? You'd be able to drive the car and not have a problem. So this is a pretty neat setup. And yeah, they were at Mo Party, and they had cars that they had wired, and everything ran great. So it makes a life a lot simpler. And so this is the only way I would do it in an old car, is use their thing, because there's not a lot of wire to be screwed up. And you could even do 6.4, or you could do a Hellcat engine if you really like. You can find one. But yeah, definitely go on Copart. Copart, you could find a lot of these 5.7s, or you could even find 6.1s on there, or 6.4s, because yeah, those also get wrecked a lot. So they're going to be out there. So that's how I would do it. And those engines are actually fairly cheap. You can, but they're fairly cheap, and you can, just buy it for like maybe $3,000. I'm not kidding. $4,000, and with transmission. They're kind of plentiful. You just have to make sure the car, didn't have like 150,000 miles on it. But yeah, that's how I would go ahead and do this, because Mopar is not going to give you any support. Stellantis is not going to give you any support to do this, because if you pull up direct connection, there's nothing in there. I mean, it's almost a pamphlet now, direct connection catalog. And once again, where's Knuskis? You're supposed to be building an SRT division, supposed to be building performance, and yet nothing has changed in 6 months. This place will modify a factory harness for about 150 less than buying the one that they already did too. Oh, is he talking about the place I'm showing here, Swap? Because they're quality stuff. But this is literally 3 wires that you attach to your car, And honestly, doing just 3 wires is a hell of a lot easier than trying to finagle that whole thing into your car. 5.7 bolt up nice, the old 5-speed ZF. Yeah, that 5-speed ZF is a great transmission. Yeah, okay, Ed, yeah. They're pretty knowledgeable, and they say you can just call them and ask questions. They're really they're car guys, and then that's the thing, though. They really are car guys, so they kind of understand the whole thing. Um, Jesus. So they, they actually understand the car thing. They'll work with you, and honestly, just to be able to plug and play it, I would pay. I'd pay whatever not to have to figure out wiring. I mean, this is laid out for you already. I mean, and then yes, adding the transmission is not cheap, but you know what? I mean, if you do the regular transmission that comes with it, yeah, it's $1,100. But whatever. I mean, it's like, $3,000, but you're only gonna pay. It'll be $6,000 to have a new engine in the car. Six. I mean, honestly, seriously, 6,000-7,000. Let's see what I got here. Dealer part manager is building a 65 Superstock, and direct connection offered nothing. Yes, I did a video a while ago. It's probably a lot worse now on direct connection. The direct connection catalog is really, really bad. There's almost nothing in there. Let me pull it up because it's actually kind of funny. And this really goes to all this stuff that they're doing. It really is counterproductive to actually grow your business. Oh my God, what the hell is this? Oh, I got to show this. All right, so I just did a search, right? First of all, that's like a Dodge thing. I don't even understand this. That's not the direct connection symbol. What is going on here? So here we go. Vintage muscle. It's the direct connection vintage muscle. So here, okay. So air and fuel, right? Air and fuel. An intake manifold, not available. Fuel pump eccentric for the RB block, not available. Intake manifold, RB block, not available. So all this is not available. Then let's see. Let's go to engine parts. A valve spring. Wow. I can go buy those anywhere. Don't need them for you. Here is the old voltage regulator from the 70 and down. They have those. They're $67. A fan shroud out of stock. Flex plate screws that you can buy anywhere. $35. Intermediate shaft bushing for all V6s and 8s. You can buy that. Oil pressure relief spring. So there you go. You can buy one of those. I have this. I have the voltage regulator. I didn't pay $80 for it. It's gone up in price. You can buy timing chain set because that's normal. Oil pan set. Back order. Can't get it. The baffles for all V8s. You can buy one of those, I guess. Another valve spring. This is like for a 340. That looks like 340 because it has the dampener in it, the same as mine. $10 a piece. I can just go buy aftermarket, and an oil filter for $12. So yeah, this is the entire Mopar direct connection thing. You can't buy the valve cover hardware. Here's the high performance voltage regulator, another fan shroud for a HEMI, relief spring for I think that's for an RB block. The other voltage regulator, $80. Spark plug wires for a LA motor. a distributor cap for V8s, uh, HEMI tubes, valve keepers, a valve lash chart that you can just find online, valve cover bolts that don't look right. Oh, those for magnums. That's why. Another voltage regulator. There we go. And let's see, torsion bar lock and seal. The little, yeah, so you can buy those. Oil pan gasket, and that's for RB and HEMI. Transmission gasket looks like a 727, not a 904. Rocker shims, distributor hold down, and that is for, and it's on back order. It doesn't matter. Water pump installation kit on back order, doesn't matter. Torque converters, wow. Distributor drive gear for regular, no, it's on back order. Breather cap up, back order. Dipstick up, no, I can't get that either. It's back order. And then a thermostat housing, that's on back order also. So this is the quality that we're getting now on our classic cars. This is the support we get from Stellantis. Exterior, you can get the red markers for 72 and up, not the yellows. You can only get the reds. You can only get the back ones. You're not allowed to get the front ones anymore. So they have those for $26 a piece now. Here's a pinion snubber picture. No, unavailable. Ooh, leaf springs. Literally don't know what they are. There's part numbers. Shocks. Leaf springs. I saw a pinion snubber. $80. Up, back order. Can't get one. Oh well. So this is the quality that they have brought us. What the hell is Graveyard Cars talking about? I guess Direct Connection cut him off too. Yeah. You know, I mean, there's nothing left. And actually, the video I did, like, it's almost 2 years ago. They actually had twice as many items. They actually had parts for LA engine, and now we're literally at the point for brakes. You either have a brake push rod or the adapt. You can't buy the adapter. That's all your brake stuff you can get. And here's the driveline stuff. Literally, the driveline stuff is unavailable except for lug nuts. You can buy a lug nut. So that is the Direct Connection old car section. I just ran through the whole thing. Now the Ford Performance, the Ford Performance Guide, G Canada would love this, is actually a book. You could buy whole engines in the Ford Performance Guide. Like you could buy 302s and 351s. You could buy full dressed engines from Ford. Still can. You could still buy a full dressed engine from Ford. You could buy heads from Ford. You could buy all these things. It is literally 100 pages long. Direct Connection is now an embarrassment. Yeah, it's an embarrassment. True story. True story. I could never get the distributor cap to fall on my 302 after I took it out. 3 of my friends couldn't do it either. One was a mechanic just out of school. So you couldn't get the cap back on the 302. Usually you just had to kind of molest it a little bit and it'll fall back in. I on the LAs, it's actually a LA Chryslers. It's really friggin' hard because it's against the firewall, and usually the one clip will clip easy and the other one won't. No, so his dad, old school mechanic, looked under the hood in 5 seconds, told me to get my junk out of his lot. I said I had to leave it, can't get it to drop. He shut the hood, get your junk out. Well, it must have been a Ford. Old man did it in 5 seconds. Of course he did. But this is where we are now with if you're a Chrysler guy, this is where we are now. We are basically at the point where nothing is available. And I mean, what is available is absolutely pointless. Here's headers. Hey, let's go spend $2,000 on headers. $2,000. That's all they have for vintage cars. They have headers that you can spend $2,000 on. $2,000. Or you could buy this rolling chassis Charger copy for $199,000. $199,000. Yeah. Yeah. So there we go. That's the license parts. Here's some race stuff. Some valves that are $1,500. This is all for the modern cars. And it's extremely expensive. But there's not a lot of it either. $1,200 for a camshaft. Licensed product. There you go. There you go, Stellantis. This is Stellantis. This is what we get from Stellantis. We get nothing. So I mean, honestly, as I tell people, if you own an old Chrysler, look elsewhere for a new car. Don't buy it from these people. Please don't give them your business. They don't deserve it. They don't deserve your business. They really don't. Stellantis doesn't deserve your business. They've done nothing. They've done nothing to earn it. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, you couldn't set out to piss people off as bad as they have, but literally they have. It is quite amazing, and I'm impressed by actually the level of just FU that they gave the classic car owner. It's amazing. It's almost like we don't have any money or something. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. Gary Axton, yes, classic industries and eBay, yeah. I mean, honestly, it is. Here's the thing, and this is what boggles my mind, and maybe I don't know if I'm wrong on this, but with 3D printing being as good as it is now, right? Why are we not getting more parts being 3D printed? I'm ready to go out and get a 3D printer and start trying to do it. Okay, I have space here to do it. I could set a 3D printer up because at this point, the lack of support from Chrysler or Stellantis is absolutely mind-numbing. It really is. It's actually kind of upsetting because now, they're not offering any new product you'd want. And then with the old product, they're giving you nothing. And then they have their licensing agreement, which they really turn the screws on the people that if you buy an officially licensed, they literally are taking giant chunks of that money from that person. Always bring in the facts. 4339 JK. Mopar pioneered licensing parts in the 90s. Yes, they did. And they protect that stuff like it's gold. Even though they have no desire to ever do anything to support those products, they will damn well make sure you can't make those products. It is mind-numbing, actually. A lot of times I've gotten around paying licensing by having stuff that doesn't have part number on it. And it's usually stuff that nobody can see. And I've done that a few times because I just, when you need something, you have to just buy it. G Cannon, I saw a guy that built a Lamborghini with a 3D printer with his kid over a year or two ago. Looked pretty good. Yeah. So I think this is going to be my next thing is that I'm going to start 3D printing parts because there's parts on my car that don't exist. There's a lot of plastic on the inside that is not around. It's fragile to start with. And honestly, if you don't 3D print it, you're not going to find it. There's no way to make molds for it. Like literally, I want to 3D print my taillights. Nobody makes my taillights for a 72 SE has a 1 year only taillight. It's two pieces. It's a piece of pot metal and the actual lens. They now sell on eBay. They sell on eBay for a cool $500 a lens. It's $1,000 for a pair of lenses now. God forbid if somebody actually hits me in the back because I'm going to look at it and go, you just had the most expensive rear end of your life because that's going to probably be $15,000 to fix that. I hope you're ready to pay. So But, yeah, he obviously had the frame and powertrain, but the 3D was right. Yeah, yeah. I honestly, yeah. Yeah, actually, with the materials they're doing, pretty soon you'll be able to do on a larger scale, you'd probably be able to do a drive shaft. Because you can do it if you could do it out of carbon fiber, you could probably do that. I mean, they're getting close to making stuff that's that durable. So we're not that far away from that type of stuff. But for the interior things, this is this is literally gonna have to be something I'm going to need to do. That and also the little these little spring bumpers that are on the corner of my hood that literally just break because they're junk and the plastic's old and there's something else to 3D print because honestly, there's the only way around it at this point is to 3D print stuff. If you have an old car, um, and you're at least technically semi-savvy, I think that the thing you need to do is go out and invest in a 3D printer. And I'm probably going to end up doing that because I can't find anything, and I mean, when I start looking at the prices of stuff for my car, it's actually kind of nauseating. And it's really it's cheaper for me to buy a 3D printer, learn how to do it, and then make them, and even screw up a few times than to buy one tail light for my car. It's gotten to that point. It really has. And of course, obviously, Stellantis is never gonna ever, ever, ever build anything for my car. Even hi Wuzzle. Hey everybody, Wuzzle's here. There's a Wuzzle. See you, Wuzzle. Wuzzle's now joined the podcast. Um, headlight. Let's see, what's this? Headlight assembly on some cars are like $2,500 side. Got to think people will start printing that stuff too. Uh, my friend Monique had a BMW that got hit, and $2,500 is actually cheap. The headlights were almost $5,000. The car got totaled. Jamie, are you gonna buy a new or used 3D printer? Probably a new one. I don't know. I'm kind of weary to buy. Why are you licking me, cat? Kind of weary to buy a used 3D printer. Uh, let's see. Gary Axon, Dennis, when you hit it big, don't forget about old Gary. I forgot you said it, but it's just a lot of people making it big after retirement. Yes. Don't worry. Don't worry. I enjoy doing this too much, so I'll just be here. And I have a cat who's licking me, and it's actually kind of distracting. But yeah, so I mean, this is where we are with Stellantis. With the old cars, they're not doing anything anymore. I mean, nothing. Even if you have a like a Hellcat, um, there's really not a lot for you, because they just don't care. So I mean, if you have stuff that's like less than 10 years old, there's not you're better off just going someplace else to buy the stuff because they literally are just basically stealing. It's actually kind of horrible. Oh, so hey, cats, especially ones that live in my house. Horrible little critters. It's looking because the first time you feed it, the cat will try to eat. No, she's grooming me. She's my friggin' partner here. 4339 JK. Back in the 90s, my friend sold Nos Chevy parts and said they'll keep making them until the machines break down. But Chrysler was already at that point. Now everyone licenses old stuff. Well, what happened with Chrysler, I don't know which way my hair is supposed to go. Oh, wow, I look like Doc from Back to the Future. Oof, that's not a look. But what happened with Chrysler is when they went almost completely bankrupt in 79, 80, part of the deal was to get rid of a lot of the tooling for the engines that they weren't going to sell anymore. So that stuff got destroyed, literally destroyed because they had no money. And the government, that's why they don't have the 440. They can't make a 440. That's why that went to Keith and the HEMI. The actual 426, that actually went to Keith Black. Keith Black was making HEMIs with their original Chrysler stuff. The 440 also went off to a third party. They literally, any of the RB and B block stuff went away, and also most of their old stock, was just old stock because they stopped being able to make parts. By 79, they weren't able to pay any of their suppliers. And remember, in 79, like my car was a 72, it was still only 7 years old. So technically, they should have been making parts for it. But because they weren't paying these people just stopped making the parts. So it ended up, you had a giant gap in the supply chain because Chrysler basically went belly up. And the only reason they stayed around is because Iacocca got them cheap loans from the federal government. They were not from the government; they were from banks, but the government guaranteed them, and that was the only way they stayed in business. And the only reason they did that is because it was Lee Iacocca. If it had been anybody else, I guess, they would have told them to go pound sand. Why didn't the race guys buy the old dies? Keith Black did. He bought the HEMI ones. The 440, I don't know where it went, but I know that those blocks could be made. Wow, where am I? I look insane right now. But yeah, the 440s were sold, but like the other stuff just disappeared. It literally just went away, and a lot of the spare parts stuff, it just went away. And so that's why there's such a shortage of like body panels and stuff for most cars. That's why they had to start remaking them. And a lot of times when you buy them, they don't fit well. It's because they're not from the original. When they're not from the original die, they're like a corner panel or a fender. It's like a kind of it's a computer image of that, and they remade it. It's not the original part, and yeah, that's why a lot of stuff doesn't fit. So let's see what we got here. When you do the history of Chrysler rise and fall, don't forget the day they sent everyone home sometime in the early 70s. Yeah, Chrysler had massive problems in the early 70s, late 60s, early 70s with strikes. And actually I went over a video. Actually, did I even do that one? Maybe. Yeah, I did. With the Charger. It was on the third generation Charger. Third generation Charger was supposed to be a 1970 car. They were supposed to change B bodies in 1970. And they had a big strike in early 69. They actually had two strikes. They had 68 and 69. They had big strikes, walkouts, wildcat strikes. And that's what pushed them back. Plus, they had a disaster in 69 with their C bodies because nobody liked the fuselage body, and the sales plummeted. And then in 73, I think they had another one, and they just, they were literally, by 74, they were literally not good financial problem. They're good financial shape. They were actually in dire straits at that point. And they actually needed the Valarian Aspen to be a hit. They really did. The Valarian Aspen was basically the Hail Mary of that company because they figured it was something to replace the A body. So it was not that expensive. There was a good profit margin on the car, and they figured that it would be a way out of their debt because they would have a high selling mid-size, small mid-size car. And when that car failed miserably, and then the recalls happened, that was pretty much when the die was set. The R body basically was the icing on the cake. But the F body failing really is what finally put them into bankruptcy. And because if you think about it, the Cordoba sold incredibly well in 70, was it 76, 77, even 78. The car sold well. Most of the B bodies did not sell poorly, except for the Charger. But, like the Fury sold well, and the Fury was a B body at that point. It sold very well. But the F body failing is really what I mean. And then the R body basically just taking them down like the Titanic. I did a video on the R body. That car, when you have 11 um, uh, uh, defects per car, you're not well. And that car, that car basically finished them off. But the F body should have saved the company if it had been executed properly. But they did everything incredibly wrong in the car because they were out of money. And that's why they ended up doing the rust proofing like they did by washing the car first in water and then spraying the rust proofing on. That is literally how they did it. That's why Velaris and Aspens started rotting on the lot. Iacocca said they never needed the Aspen Velaris. I assume he meant just keep building Dusters. Yeah. In Iacocca's mind, because remember, Lee came from Ford. And at Ford, until something became completely useless, Ford would keep making it. I mean, that is literally the Ford way. Unless it becomes outdated or useless, they would keep making the car. And I guess in Lee's mind, that the Dart, Duster, Valiant were cars that could still be updated and kept, and they could have kept on selling them. The thing is, they needed the problem is that A body was now 10 years old, and because that was like the second coming of that body. It was 10 years old at that point, and honestly, the original A bodies were garbage. They were garbage. They were very they were thin metal on them. They were not very comfortable cars. They had lots of quality control issues, and they also didn't have a modern look because remember, Ford had just come out with the Fairmont and the Granada, and General Motors came out with their smaller cars, and so the A bodies did look very old. So Iacocca could say that, but then again, this is the man that ran the K car through the 80s, and it should have actually been done by 1982 or 83. Volare is such a fun name, though. Yeah, it means to fly in Italian, and unfortunately, that car did not. Dennis, I guess this country doesn't produce people like Iacocca anymore. No, I guess they don't, or they're not in the car business. For Iacocca's faults, the strengths are pretty amazing, because he learned. See, Iacocca learned from the Deuce, Henry Ford II, because he was a president of Ford, and the only person reported to was the Deuce. And that's why he got fired, because he disagreed with the Deuce, and he told him, he wasn't going to do what the Deuce wanted. And the Deuce said, thanks but goodbye. And he fired him because he was the Deuce. And, but even so, with all those faults, at least he was a leader that went, okay, I'm going to take ownership of this. And if it screws up, it's my fault. If it's a success, it's mine. And, that is literally the way he ran Chrysler. That's the way he did Ford. He came out with the four-door Thunderbird, which is, my God, why? But he stood behind it, and it ended up selling. So then he was right. We didn't like it, but he was right. And right now, we have weak leaders at these car car companies, and they are weak. Um, what's his name at Ford he's weak. He's a weak dude, man. General Motors, Barra is absolutely weak. She's just over her head. She almost looks like she's a scapegoat, but who knows? And then Chrysler's just full of weak people. Honestly, I can't. There is not a person in Chrysler that I think could really run the company. Not that I've seen, or Stellantis. There doesn't seem to be anybody there that I would want to run the company, because they just don't. No one there actually grabs me as somebody that, yeah, they're gonna take it forward. They're gonna bring their old people, the old customers forward with them, you know, and they're not there. Kaniskas isn't that guy. He really isn't. He's really good at promoting stuff, but he's not that guy. Filosa definitely isn't that guy. He's a good numbers guy. He's a good strategy guy, but he's not that guy. He's not Lee Iacocca. And actually, I did a video on that. There is no Lee Iacocca coming for Chrysler this time. And Chrysler and Dodge are pretty much dead divisions. And I think I did 2 videos on that, because they literally are dead. I mean, it's just we're just waiting for the shoes to drop now, because in that press release there was no mention of a Dodge car. There was no mention of a Chrysler car, or a Chrysler SUV, or a Chrysler truck, or I mean nothing. There was no mention of a Chrysler product. And so literally these 2 divisions are now just living on borrowed time. If and when the new Charger is a failure, which I'm pretty much going to say, yeah, it's going to be, especially with the Huracan in it, it's going to be a failure. I don't know. I mean, in my own eyes, I wouldn't mind to see them go away, because then maybe I can get parts for my car. I mean, it'd be a little selfish there, but honestly, they're not doing anything at this point that is impressive, or makes me have confidence that they know what they're doing, because there really doesn't. General Motors just basically said, we're not doing EVs. They just took a one. Actually, even show it. I have it here. Here it is. Before I get to your comment, General Motors reports $1.6 billion hit from now unused EV investment. And it wants me to. Oh God, I didn't sign on this, but whatever. But the whole thing is, General Motors now realizes that the EV dream is over, and they would rather take $1 billion, almost $2 billion hit right now, and get out of the EV market, than to actually stay in it and just wallow and become Stellantis. And here is Stellantis still pushing the 4-door Charger appliance that no one wants. $70,000 for something that is as useless as can be. A 1980 Chevette is a more useful vehicle than a new Charger EV 4-door. All day long, a more useful vehicle. I can't even believe it. Let's see. Gary actually, the CEO sounded like she was right out of college. She had all the old talking points, no useful info. No, she's been in the business for a while. That's the scary part. She's actually been around Chrysler for a while, and there's nothing impressive about her. I mean, maybe she's good at cost cutting, because it seems like that's what the last thing they put out, they're cost cutting hard, and that's not a great sign. But they actually she sent out a memo about cost cutting. I remember reading that really recently. Let's see. He's from my hometown, Allentown, Pennsylvania. There's a hot dog chain still around called Yakko's. Someone in his family owned it, and they came up with the name because people couldn't pronounce the name. A lot of Italians out there in Allentown. Articulate John, why can't we improve on steam engines? Because don't give it to Stellantis, because they wouldn't be able to do it. Chrysler will never find their Jennifer Witz. I think they did. I think Christine Fuel is their Jennifer Witz. It's a Sirius XM reference, another incredibly poorly run company. God, what is this? I'm surrounded by poorly. But honestly, at this point, you're looking at Stellantis kind of not. They've alienated everybody that bought Chrysler products, and it actually isn't that long ago. It's only like less than 30 years ago. So there's actually, and so you have kids, whatever, so those people that bought it, they had kids. So literally you have these generations of people that used to buy Chrysler products that are no longer Chrysler people. And you're not doing anything to win them back at this point, nor are you supporting the older cars at all. And so you're not doing a good job of building your company and throwing $13 billion. Is it 13 billion? Yeah. Throwing $13 billion at some garbage products isn't going to fix your company, because what you're going to make is what no one wants. You literally went and you spent all this money on the Huracan, which I don't even understand. America was not screaming for a 500 horsepower inline six. We already have the BMW B58. We don't need the dollar store B58. And that's all that thing is a dollar store B58. We don't need that. We don't need a food stamp B58. We have it. We have B58 at home. Gary Axton's been to Yakko's. Why? Oh, that's right. I've never been to Allentown. That's why I've never been there. I've never been there. Darn. I have to go there now. It's got to be one of those things. But so now, when you have an old car and there's just no more loyalty to this company, because and you shouldn't have any loyalty to this company because they've done nothing to build your loyalty. Yeah, and I just find it very odd. And if you have any of their classic cars, you're kind of up the creek at this point, because they're not licensing anything. Like my Charger, the 3rd generation Charger, there are no trunks available. The only trunks that are available are the ones that they built 50 years ago. That's it. Those are the only trunks that you can get from my car. I scrapped 2 trunks. Now I'm really upset that I scrapped 2 trunks, because I probably should have saved them and figured a way to weld the rot holes in them, because there is no buying any new trunks. Literally, they don't exist, and there's no plans. And think of this: this is 4 years worth of cars. There's no plans to build that product. So it doesn't exist, and I have yet to see AMD going, yep, we're working on making trunks for 71 to 74 Chargers, because there's no difference between the 4 years. Well, the only difference is on the 71, they had the thing to put the spoiler in, and then on 72 and up, it was just a flat plate, but you can cut it and make it so it's a 71. It's not hard. There's no fenders for my car. The front fenders for a 71, 72 Charger or 73, 74 Charger do not exist. The only way to get one is to buy used ones. There is no supply of these fenders. They don't exist. No one has them. Flat hoods don't exist. They, once again, used. Doors don't exist. And Chrysler is doing nothing to help get these licensed at all. There's 0.0 licensing coming, and it's actually kind of sad. And if you see how messed up they are just running their daily business, there is absolutely no hope for you to get anything for your old car. Or if you honestly, I'll even go deeper. If you have a 10-year-old Challenger or Charger, I would be getting rid of it. If you have a 2015, or actually if you have a previous generation, the 2014 or down, pre-facelift Charger or Challenger, get rid of it, because they're not going to have anything for that car soon, because they don't seem to want to keep stuff running on the road, even though things are so expensive. You want to keep your car running, and they're not doing anything to keep them maintained, nor is their aftermarket support really that great because they make it very hard for aftermarket support. And Jesus, and G Canada making me just more upset. The Jays, 5-1, yeah. But you know, they're not doing anything on with the current stuff or any of their old stuff. They literally are a company that has no idea what they're doing. And after being in Italy and using one of their cars that was made for that market, perfectly made for that market, with a diesel in it and a 5-speed, and it worked perfectly fine, and it drove well, and it was completely reliable, and I looked at the price of it, and it was under 20,000 euros. And I'm like, why is this car not available in America? Oh yeah. Yes, hit the like button, please, everybody. And tell your friends and like and subscribe, please, dear God. It's a lot of work, Let's see, there's a company that makes fiberglass hoods and fenders for 60 Coronet. Most of the fiberglass looks like garbage. It's usually wavy. And most of the time they don't line up. I don't know if they've truly improved it. There is supposed to be a company out of Orlando that makes, I know they make 69, 68, 69, 70 Charger hoods that are fiberglass. They're supposed to be not bad. They actually don't look like junk, but it's been really hard. Fiberglass, there's not enough reinforcements in it. So, oh, G Cannon, I'm sorry you were late. Sorry, which car in Italy did you drive? Oh, okay. Well, let me show you so we can have a conversation here. I will show a picto. Okay. All right. This is for G Canada, who came late. I drove this. It's a Tipo. It's a Fiat Tipo. It's a 4-cylinder diesel 5-speed station wagon. You can get it in. This is a gas version that is available. That would actually make the U.S. market because it has a 1.5 turbo hybrid, 130 horsepower. This is in Malta. This is from the Maltese website. The car is 170 inches long. You could fit 3 suitcases in the back. You could fit 4 people in the car. It was absolutely fine car. And honestly, if they brought this instead of the Fiat 500 and the 500 XL, they probably would have sold, 40, 50,000 of these easily. Because I even imagine with this engine, let's see, 5.2 liters per 100,000 100 kilometers. What the hell is that in real math? What is that, like 3 gallons every 60 miles? Right? 3 gallons, 3.5 gallons, 60 miles, like 25 miles to the gallon. And this is an automatic. It has to be better than that. 5.2. I don't know. G Canada, what the hell does that mean? 5.2. Aren't they the Hornet? No, the Hornet is an Alfa Romeo. It's an Alfa Romeo. Was it Alfa Romeo? It's absolute junk. It is an Alfa Romeo. Tonale. It's an Alfa Romeo Tonale that they basically is such a piece of garbage that both vehicles have been recalled for brakes and other things at least 4 times. And they actually stopped production of the Hornet. The Hornet, they stopped production a few months ago. So that gets 45 miles per gallon. Wow, wouldn't that? So who here wouldn't want a car that you could put your family in, a bunch of stuff in the back, and get 45 miles to the gallon? I'd want that. I'd be okay with 45 miles to the gallon. I'm kind of cool with that. And that's with an automatic. So, I mean, this is Yeah, exactly. Oh, the diesel. Actually, the diesel was good. It actually had power. I was impressed. I mean, we had really steep hills, and the car pulled up the hills. Let's see, Jamie, when you rent a car, how do you treat it? Most people really beat on rentals. Yeah, I beat the hell out of it. I'm honest. I'll be very honest. I beat the hell out of this car. Because I mean, a lot of times it's just because I'm where I was driving. I was driving Palermo, so you just I don't know what the red line was supposed to be on the engine, but that engine did pass 5,000 RPM a couple times. Um, it went there. It wasn't like I misshifted. It went there. I don't know if the rev limiter didn't work, but I went past 5,000 a couple times. Um, I had it up to 145 kilometers an hour, and it still was going. I mean, the car actually had power. I was freaking impressed. I mean, this thing actually had power. Really, I was really impressed. But yeah, I beat the hell out of it. Oh, and the only problem with it was the stick. The stick shift was like wet spaghetti. It had absolutely no feedback, no feel. It was I couldn't feel the difference between first and third, but it told you on the dash, so at least I could fix it quickly. Let's see, Gcana, Peugeot 508. I think it was full size diesel wagon in the UK, 6-speed standard diesel loaded, got 40 plus drove. Yep, yeah. Gas is 285 New Jersey. What's it in Florida? Regular, it's 275 regular. It depends. About 275. Thank God it came down. Now, if they get the ethanol out, it'll be real gas. Premium is where it gets a little dicey. Costco has premium for 325 or so, but most places is like 350, 360 for the good stuff. Stuff that my charger eats through. $4 in Central Cal. Oh, well, that's because California has terrible energy policies. Jesus, I mean, they just do it to themselves. Wow, man, that's painful. That is utterly painful. I think too bad. What about Al isn't here because I think he's in Washington. Washington is even worse. I think it's around $5. Barbara DeRush, New York has so many tax on gas, liquor, cigarettes, which you're getting for free. Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, but they blow the money anyway because it's government. Government knows how to blow money. That's the one thing government knows how to do: spend money. They don't make anything, but man, they can spend money. Gcana, it was a 2.2 liter bi-turbo. Ooh, it went both ways. It was quick for a full size 4-cylinder. Yeah. Well, no, a turbo diesel. Once you get, it will get itself rolling. It's just it doesn't have any top end. But I mean, honestly, for what you need it for, and that's why I like this car, is that it had so much bottom because it was a diesel. It had enough bottom end that I can actually get rolling pretty quick. Especially when you're dealing with the mountains because you are driving in mountains or the psychotic traffic that's in Palermo. You can pull out and have a good chance of actually making it. It's just like the lotto goes to education. Look how that's working. Well, yeah, what they did is they took all the lotto money and they put it to education, and then they stopped putting the tax dollars and they waste that someplace else because that's just the way it works. See how it works? See how it works? Gas is same price in Canada as in California. I go to New York State and buy Canadian gas for 2/3 the price. I can buy it in Canada. Money exchange included. Wow. Well, that's also, once again, a government problem. If you want to have a problem created, just have government work on it. They'll find a way to make a problem out of it. Like I believe Ronald Reagan said that if you had the government in charge of the Sahara Desert, it would run out of sand. And that is very true. And all taxation is theft. All taxes accounted. Yes, and all taxation is theft. 4339 JK. Gas was always high in Canada. Pennsylvania has the highest gas taxes, more than California. Oh my God. And you know what the sad thing is? I read an article. Pennsylvania, is an oil-rich state. They literally are. That's where Pennzoil. I mean, seriously, Quaker State, the Quaker State, literally Pennsylvania has oil. They have petroleum products, and they found a way to be energy poor. Congratulations. You really have done a bang up job. And that is absolutely sad. And your roads are terrible. 4339 JK. I've driven on the Pennsylvania Turnpike. Dear God. Did they purposely make them that bad? Or is that like a design feature? Just want to know. Is that like a design feature? Uh Canada should be no, I don't want Canadians. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No. No, because then no. No. Unless we get well, I'll accept the McKenzie brothers, but that's about it. And they would have to stop saying A. Let's see. Canada has the third largest oil reserves in the world. Why would it be cheaper? Exactly. Exactly. You have so much oil, yet your government doesn't want you to use it. That's what it comes down to, right? Uh, let's see. Now, come on. If you're going to be Pennzoil, you can't have the highest gas cost. Well, no, they do. They actually have two oils that are named after that state. Rockefeller, that's where he made his money, was Pennsylvania. Let's see. Freeze and thaw is the culprit. They still produce motor oil. Wow. That's it? Damn. Oh, you're welcome, Gary. You're welcome. Yeah. So I mean, once again, look, the government got into cars, and look what they gave us. They gave us the malaise era. I mean, seriously, they gave us horrible cars for almost 10 years because they wanted to help us. And by the time they helped us, the problem was over. Because by the time they had all the EPA fuel economy stuff, really baked in, was by 83, 84, and the price of gas started plummeting. I miss John Candy. See, that was another Canadian that was worth it. John Candy was funny. I love John Candy. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Those are not pillows. Yes. Yes. But yeah, it's sad. And it's all. I mean, my eyes really got opened by having this car, and the beating it took, and it had 77,000 clicks on it, which is what 60% now, like 45,000 miles, and it was still, the seats were still good, and I mean, it still was fine. It's just had a terrible shifter in it, which you can fix those things, but this is better than a 500 and better than a 500 XL, and it's better than any of the Alphas they have in America. I mean, all the Alphas they have in America are garbage. Overpriced garbage at that. I mean, the Giulia is not a good car. Actually, in Italy, they stopped selling this car, which I'm so upset. I saw a lot of these. It's a Giulietta. So it's a small Giulia. And honestly, this car is, they had a two-door hatch and then a four-door hatch. This car absolutely, if done right, would be a Honda Civic fighter. This would have been, I mean, it was still built by Alfa Romeo, so it is, I can't believe it actually got a C in reliability, which is pretty good for them. But this is the type of car that they should be focusing on, because this is a big market. Ask Honda about that. Ask how many Civics they sell every year. They sell a lot of Civics, and this is actually kind of embarrassing that this car was made in Italy, and then after they became Stellantis, they stopped making this car. And there was still a lot of them on the road, so they're obviously not that bad. But I mean, honestly, I imagine this thing probably gets 40, 50 miles to the gallon. Let's see. G Canada, what is turbos? Sportage with a 2-liter turbo diesel in Ireland. 6-speed standard as well. Got close to 45 miles per gallon. Why does California screw over North Americans for good diesel cars? It's because of the electric car religion. That's why. That's why they got rid of them, because it was the only real competition for the golf carts, the appliances. And by getting rid of the diesels, the appliances look better, I guess, until the reality of the appliance actually settled in. And then you realize that the appliance is not as good as a diesel car. Because honestly, if I had an electric appliance in Sicily, I would have gone nowhere. There was no place to charge it. Zero. There was 0 places to charge an appliance. I mean, because I was in the country, and there is no place to charge an appliance in the country. It just doesn't work that way. And I think the only one I saw was they had stolen the copper wire from it. So there's that. Let's see. Oils was discovered at Drake's Well near Bradford. Kendall owned the plant, which is still operation, but someone else now owns it. No kidding. Cool. Oh my God, Autobot Al is back. Well, hi. I'm glad I stayed on long enough for you to return. How you doing? Oh, Dennis going over a lot of stuff. I went over all the cars I did, how Stellantis should be bringing the car here, how Stellantis really doesn't like its customers, how Stellantis has no idea what the hell they're doing, and how governments are evil. I think this pretty much summarizes tonight. Let's see. Cannon, we nearly don't have the energy capacity now. What would happen if everybody started buying? It wouldn't work. My friend, he was in the electric company down here in Tampa, and he was their head buyer. So he was the guy that bought all their replacement parts and all. And he worked at the power plant before that. We are at 95% capacity before they started doing EVs. 95%. That means there's almost no spare capacity. If they did that, literally the grid would just collapse. In my neighborhood, I have less than 70 houses. If everybody here bought it, there's no way the transformers on this block would be able to handle powering those cars all at once and running air conditioning. It would actually it would blow the transformers. It would be too much load on the system. That is the problem. Also, you can't store electricity. Not safely. You can put it in capacitors, but it's really dangerous. Oh yeah, Ace Frehley, yes. God pulled up aces today. He's now ace in the hole. Oh yeah, the old signs. Gary, old signs, yeah, tens of thousands. Car related ones are huge, but yeah, well, people put them in the garage, like my friend's doing up in Tennessee. He actually has all the Mopar direct connection girls. He's getting them all on the wall. It's pretty cool. But yeah, so it's just been, so yeah, I mean, it's at the point now where, hopefully common sense starts actually happening, because it would kind of make everybody's life easier if common sense started happening. If we can have diesels back in America, if we can have normal engines back in America, if we can just, like, I don't know, drill for oil and have new refineries made in America, these things would have been. And now my video is starting to get weird. Very strange. Let me back out of this. And it's been it's really, it's at the point now where it's kind of weird that we're kind of at the cusp of almost getting normal, but we're not there yet. We still have ethanol in our gasoline, which actually adds to the cost. Ethanol adds to the cost of gasoline because it can't be shipped with gasoline. It has to be shipped separately. It's really terrible. It really makes it much more expensive, and it actually makes it I don't know why I'm starting to have like problems with my video. Yeah. All the tiny turbo gas motors are absolute garbage. Yes, they are. Especially Hyundai's. Hyundai actually, any of their turbo engines, if you're going to buy one of these things, I would highly, highly suggest that you change the oil every 3,000 miles. I mean, seriously, every 3,000 miles. The pistons aren't big enough to have enough space between the rings to keep the rings from collapsing or getting filled with soot or whatever, because there's just not enough space. And if you go too long on an oil change, you will have rings not sealing and they'll be blow by. The Ford 3-cylinder the Eco, whatever the hell that thing's called. That may be the worst engine ever designed. It actually has a wet timing belt. The first generation has a wet timing belt, and that means the timing belt is inside the crankcase and it's rubber. Rubber and oil are usually a bad combination, and in this case, it is. These engines don't last 70,000 miles. In fact, they die usually around 50. They changed the design. Now the oil pump rubber belt is in oil, and that fails. And these motors, though, they still don't make 70,000 miles. So literally, it's the most disposable car ever made. It is really it's really it's a really, really bad design. Let's see. I read that even ethanol-free gas in some states, PA for one, have some ethanol in it, but it can't confirm. It's becoming more available, though. Yeah, well, the problem is the way they have to do it. Because I have friends that are lobbyists for oil and gas, and they can't send ethanol through pipelines because it will absorb water. It has to be trucked. That's part of the expense. Now you have depots that have, tanks holdings, and it isn't like you have these special non-ethanol tanks that they're going to just be. You have a depot, and you can have one run that has non-ethanol in it, and then you take. But what happens is that could be used then also to make an ethanol load of. It's usually like 93 or 89 or whatever that octane was. They could do an ethanol one, and there could be remnants of ethanol gas still in there. So yes, there will be traces of ethanol in that, because it isn't you're doing things on a massive scale. You can't have just take something offline just for a specific product. The farmer, yeah. Well, the politician needs to tell the farmer to go pound salt and start planting crops that are actually useful to people. That was the one thing when I was in Sicily. Sicily is agriculture. I mean, it literally is agricultural. That's their main thing. And I watched the way they do crops there, and it makes me just nauseous the way we do it here. They actually do cycles. They will cycle crops. They won't plant the same thing twice in the same area. At the end of the year, they actually burn their fields and till it under to reinvigorate the soil. They don't waste money and time on growing corn just to destroy it and not feed livestock or feed people. They don't take food and get rid of it, because food is a pretty big commodity, in Italy, because they've had many famines. So it's something not in their DNA to waste food. And it's actually kind of embarrassing. No, actually, Ed Rooney, they do proper farming in Sicily. In all of Italy, they don't do the industrial farming like we do here. They do the old school. Their food is cheaper. Seriously, their food is so much cheaper. I didn't spend more than, I mean, even the nicest place we went, $20 a person. That's including alcohol. I mean, it is truly amazing how screwed we are getting here on basic products that are so much cheaper elsewhere in countries that are allegedly not as advanced as we are or economically sound as we are. But man, Their lifestyle is a hell of a lot better than ours, and their food is 10 times better than ours. Their bread, it doesn't make you sick. Um, the pizza there doesn't make you sick. Their Coke has sugar in it, and it's half the price of the Coke in the United States. So please keep telling me how if you take the high fructose corn syrup out of Coke, that it's going to make it more expensive when it's already cheaper in Italy. Just let me know how that works, guys. I bought a half liter of Coca-Cola for 66 cents. Half liter, 66 cents in a can. Cans are now $1 for 12 ounces here in the United States. So please keep telling me. I mean, seriously, keep telling me. Gary Axon, Trump is doing something with death fluid. Anyone know it? Yeah, they're making it so you don't need it anymore. They're actually undoing that whole stupid system. So and 4339 JK, yeah, they're stopping the DEF. Yeah, it's a stupid thing. You can't wine in Europe is so cheap, it's unreal, especially France and Italy, cheaper than water. Yes. If you buy a carafe of wine, local, Vino Rosso Locale, a half carafe is like $3. A full carafe is like $5.50. A full carafe's a bottle of wine, and it's just dirt cheap beer. I was buying beer on the street for €3. €3 for a beer out. Six packs were under €6. So yeah, so Ed Rooney's not allowed in Sicily. That sounds fun. I'm so sorry. Let's see. My sister and family went to a restaurant in Paris, ordered 4 Cokes without checking the price. They were €18 a piece in the bill. Total tourist scam. You got to be careful. They're 1 liter bottles. Yes. Yeah, I know that. I speak enough that I literally it's okay. And I know I don't eat at tourist places. See, that's the one thing. I go to local places because I just know that the local place is going to be fine and not rip you off. That's why I'm not paying a lot for food. I was getting pizzas. Like I got a pizza. Wait, I'll even show a picture of this. So I got I'll show you this. This is an alla norma pizza, right? That's eggplant on there. This pizza, right? It was 14 inches. This is a big pizza. This pizza was €10. So it's like $11. This pizza was $11. 11. I mean, no. I mean, no. There's something very wrong. There's something very wrong in our economy right now, and I'm not sure. I actually have a finance background, and I'm still confused. Let's see. The only good thing about DEF is when you can take it off, retune the diesel, and put a new exhaust once the warranty's up. Yeah, and actually, for under the previous people, if you did that, it was a felony. They actually, the 2 guys in Utah that were tuning cars, the previous administration actually got them on felonies because they removed emissions equipment on old vehicles. I wish I was kidding. The restaurant I go to, Niagara Falls, New York, the pizza cost me $31. Oh my God. My daughter ordered a Frutte de Mare pizza. It had scungio, octopus, mussels, shrimp, and it was €18. And it was loaded with it had more seafood than you could ever fathom. I mean, it literally was like a plate of seafood, but it was on a pizza. And it was €18. I mean, and we were at the beach. I mean, you figure, in America, that would have been a $50 pizza. Yep, eBay got in trouble for selling tuners. eBay is absolutely not your friend. They are a horrible organization because they actually stopped selling R12, even though it's not illegal to sell R12 or buy it. I have a license to buy Freon. I have my certification. I can buy R12 legally. I can buy it. No questions asked. And eBay stopped it, even though I can prove that I can buy it. They just stopped it because they actually are not your friend. No, actually, it was quite delicious. It really is. Fresh seafood on a pizza is really good. One of my favorite things in the world is a clam pizza. It's like nothing else. Place where near where I grew up in Staten Island used to make a clam pizza. It was absolutely phenomenal. It was just a regular pizza with clams on it. It was really good. No, that's disgusting. I hate pepperoni on pizza. I really do. I really hate pepperoni. And I'm not a oh, and I especially don't like mushrooms on it. Yeah, no. No. I like eggplant. I like this. I like this. This is what I like. This was just so that's a whole eggplant on there too. So good. See, I got my vegetables and my protein and my bread. It was really good. Exactly, Ed Rooney. Mushrooms on pizza is gross. Meatballs, meatball pie. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Oh, but yeah, so it was but it's so eye opening when you actually go, and I hadn't gone in 5 years. When you go to a foreign country and you just realize how shortcomings some things are where you live, and some things are better here, but there's something. Oh, now you're gonna make me angry. I buy R12 can every can I find at the swap meets. Sounds from a Carlisle for $12 a can. Ah, I guess I gotta go to Carlisle next year. It looks like I'm going to Carlisle and I'm gonna be going to Mo Party, but dear God, I need more R12 because the Charger is gonna get converted. The Charger is getting converted back to R12. I'm tired of 134. So that makes oh my God, because people are trying to sell it now on Mount Marketplace, like $50 a can. I'm like, dude, it's maybe 25, not 50 though. There isn't that big a market, and you're really this isn't a big market anymore. You really can't. You're just gonna be holding on to it. Exactly. This is coming from someone who puts gravy on fries. Exactly. I won't take pizza advice. I won't take pizza advice from somebody that does that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm Sicilian. I think I have authority on pizza. Yakos is 2 hours from Carlisle, according to 4339 JK. 2 hours? It's a long drive, but I almost want to go. I mean now you're really selling me on this, Yakos. I think I may have to make the trek next year because I'm upset that I missed the anniversary of the 72s and I missed the 100th. Right, so next year is the 60th anniversary of Street HEMI, I think. Wait, 65? Yeah, 66. So 80 miles. Ugh, wow. Ed Rooney, my grandpa opened his first pizza place in Central California, so I'm available to answer any questions. Cool. So I'm guessing your grandfather was a guinea because a lot of them went to California because the weather is actually really spot on. It really is similar. It's crazy. Let's see. Too bad you're not in New Jersey. I still have a lot of recycled R12 from back in the day. Damn. I'll be in Carlisle next year though, because that RV2 and the Charger does not like 134. I've been doing air conditioning for a long time. I can't get that car to actually ever be ice cold. I've gotten other people's cars where literally it's 35 degrees inside the car. My BMW with R12 blows 33. I mean, when it's 90 something outside, it's so cold we turn it down, and I can't get that. I can't get my Charger to be below 40, and it's driving me insane. It used to be below 40. Let's see. Ed Rooney. Yep, there it is. He went from Boston, but when he got out of the army, his family wasn't there anymore. They were in California. That's a very typical. That's a typical Italian thing. That we gotta go. Okay, and they left, and they went to California. Yeah, but I mean, honestly, that's why all the vineyards are out there. Those are all Italians that started those vineyards because they could grow them. That's why they have olives and almonds out there. Even though the almonds from California and the pistachios from California are inferior to anything from Sicily. I will 100% say that. And I'm absolutely true. And I'm absolutely correct. And it is true. Oh my God. Yakos is halfway between Carlisle and New Jersey. Oh, I know exactly. Yeah, that's right. It is in Allentown. I've driven past Allentown because I have gone to Carlisle from New York. So, let's see. Almost every pizza place uses frozen dough. Giant can industrial. I don't know where you're going. I have no idea where you're going where they're using frozen dough. I have a place down the street. The guy's from Naples. His dough ain't frozen. That sauce and these aren't canned sauce. It's actually crushed tomatoes. You could taste it. I mean, he has a special on Tuesday, 10.99, 18-inch pizza. Government cheese. That's right. No, oh man, Gary, you don't have any decent pizzerias? Wow. I guess they all came to Florida. Actually, there are some really decent pizzerias down here. G Canada eats McCain frozen pizzas. Jesus. I can't believe this is bothering me. There's no decent pizzerias in New Jersey. This is not right. Oh my God! I used to go to a couple of them along Route 1 and 9. There was a few decent pizzerias there. Actually, even down in toward Raceway Park, there was a couple of nice ones. And down by the boardwalk, at Seabright. At Seabright, there was a really good pizzeria down there. Oh, that sucks. Every Italian, no, come to Tampa. I think we have like 700,000 or 800,000 Italians in the Tampa area. So I'm dead serious. Uh, what about we have a good pizzeria here in my small town run by an Italian. If it's the only way it's gonna be any good. Literally, it's the only way it's gonna be any good. I literally have like 4 really good pizzerias near me, and I have like a few acceptable pizzerias. It's like like almost like football pizza kind of stuff where it's just okay. It's not disgusting, but it's not like, oh my God, I need to have this pizza. Um, and literally, I'm so happy. And down by Miami, there's so many, like, especially as you go up the coast to past Fort Lauderdale and all up in there. There's a lot of Italians there. There's some really great pizzerias down there too. Let's see. Oh, that's what it is. No Italians, Garrix says they're all Hispanic working. Yeah. They just don't have the touch. Let's see. The son runs it now, and he's got to be there for over 50 years. Holy crap. Yeah, that's usually what happened. There's a place by me. The dad ran it since the mid 70s. Now the son runs it, and they're one of the few places that makes Sicilians in Tampa. They make real Sicilian pizza. It's really good. It's kind of little sweetness to it. It's nice. But yeah, so I guess we've now divulged into pizza at this point because I had really good pizza. I ate pizza like out of 11 days. I think I ate pizza like six of the 11 days. I couldn't get enough. I could have eaten it 4 times a day. Yes, Canada has 0 good pizza. It'll taste like old cans. Have you gone to Montreal? There's lots of Italians in Montreal that are still like Italians. I have seen that they actually make real pizza there. I haven't been there in a long time, but I have seen shows and seen videos. There actually is real pizzerias there. My BFF has a pizza oven. She's pretty good. I have a pizza oven too. Actually, I have 2 pizza ovens. And I just grew a bunch of basil. I guess I have to make pizza soon. Yeah, that's pretty much true. Canada is zero good at anything. Yeah. Uh, but yeah. So this is all the perspective from traveling abroad and traveling with abroad. And oh my God. So you're kidding me. You go to Montreal and live around the Italian conclave, and you have to go to the United States to get pizza. The hell is going on? Come on, the ingredients are available everywhere now. The right stuff is available everywhere. I don't even understand this. The right cheese is available everywhere. The double odd is available everywhere. Tomatoes are available everywhere because you just buy whole tomatoes and you crush them, or you can take a hand blender to them, or put them in a blender and make them smooth. Add basil, maybe a little sugar, honey, however you want to sweeten it, and some oregano, salt and pepper, and there it is. There's your sauce. Really not rocket science. This kid's probably crossing the border to go to Papa John's. Let's see, 4339 JK. Our pizzerias are all the same anymore. No, that's a shame because I still have Tampa. We still have very, very different things. You know, I've heard about this, G Canada. Dennis Leary said that Canada may invade us to take our cheese. Wow, we have a dairy cartel and it sucks ass. Holy crap! And I just came from a country that literally makes the best cheese in the world. I will fight people on that. I had ricotta salata, which is ricotta that all the water's taken out of, and you salt it, and you make it compress it. And I was having that for breakfast on bread with pear preserves. Friggin' phenomenal! What a solid breakfast that is. Oh, all the pizzas the same and very bad in Canada. Wow, I have learned something tonight. It's amazing that I have learned something like that. I don't know what I learned, but I learned something. Hey, wait, yeah, that's the only thing I'm missing. I don't have good Chinese food. Now, Miami has good Chinese food. Actually, that's the first thing I ate when I came back from Italy. We went to a Chinese place. Freaking phenomenal. They make Hong Kong style. Absolutely the best. A little Yang's down there in just North Miami. Good place. See, their Chinese is very good. That's because the fentanyl comes through there. But yeah. So yeah, I don't have good Chinese here. So there's that. My good Chinese place closed. They retired and moved away. They went to. I guess they moved to the islands. They're gone. Oh well. All right. So I think this has been a fun show. It's been an interesting show. I think we all learned something. What it is, I have no idea. But I thank everybody for coming along. I thank everybody for let's see. We almost got to the HEMI because that was the part about well, actually we did kind of, because that announcement for $13 billion doesn't include the HEMI. There is no mention of a HEMI in their future plans. There's no replacement for the HEMI in there. There's literally no talk of a V8 in the entire document. Go read it. Go read that press release and find me a thing that says anything about a V8 coming, a replacement for the HEMI, upgrade to the HEMI. There's nothing. This is why this is all just gonna fail. It's gonna be very, very bad when it does. I judge a Chinese place by their Mugu Gai Pan, which isn't even Chinese. Correct. 4339 JK. I think that was done in San Francisco. Yeah. I miss your Rumblebee. Yeah, Gary. It's a shame. Good. Okay. So we've all learned something, that there's really bad cheese and bad pizza in Canada. We learned that Stellantis really doesn't have a clue or an idea what the hell they're doing in North America, that they actually build a decent car in Italy and Malta, but they don't bring it here. And that Dennis ate a lot of food while he was in Italy and really beat the hell out of his rental car. I think that's where we are right now. I think I think that's summarizing tonight, and I guess it's like 10:30 for me now. And oh yeah, and what about yes, we learned that Canada just sucks. That's true. But yeah, okay. So thank you all. If you got anything out of this, like, subscribe, tell your friends. I have videos. I try to put them out every week. It's been a little hard because, well, coming back from foreign country, and I've been working on 2 videos that are kicking my ass right now. And usually on old cars, sometimes on newer stuff, because I'm going to do something with my F-150 pretty soon. I'm a car guy, so tell your friends about I'm a car guy. If you ever want me to do something, just send me a post. Go on my little community thing and let me know. And I'll go ahead and do it because I'm a car guy and I love it. And I have car stuff coming up, lots of car shows and stuff with my Charger soon. So we'll have some fun. And thank you all. Just hit that like, subscribe, share it, whatever the hell boost it, the little boost button. Go ahead and do that. The Zora Arcus dunked it. I have to write that down. The guy that did the Corvette, if I'm correct, right? I'll have to put that on my list. All right, I got it on my list, Ed. It's a little out of my comfort zone, but I will do that. Actually, I'm doing a thing right now on the HEI distributor. That's way out of my comfort zone because I've only worked on a few of those. Yes, he was actually, I know a little bit about him. He was pretty smart guy. Yes, hype. I need hype, man. I need hype. But thanks a lot, everybody. And he made the HEMI heads. Oh, that's right. Yeah. All right. I don't think anybody's done a retrospective. I will do a retrospective on him. Thank you so much, everyone. And I'm going to say it later, but I'm going to say it again. If you have a cool old car, something fun to drive, you take that out because you're going to make someone's day, and it will probably be your own. And I will see everyone very soon. Bye. If you liked what you saw, subscribe. If you didn't, thank you for watching to this point. And as always, if you have a cool car or something fun to drive, take it out. You'll make someone's day, probably your own.